When the beauty turns beast, war changes you. Today, we're going to be talking about one of the most pivotal elements of Metal Gear Solid 4. And I want to share a deeper perspective within this. Throughout the game, you experience the beauty and the peace concept. This theme goes in layers. You have the player who's aging, turned into a beast. And you have boss fights. Beautiful women who suffered in war, and their trauma has turned them into beasts, used and abused by society's ways. Metaphorically speaking, this is deeper as well. But within the context of the series, the anti-war theme has lived on. Hideo Kojima really tied the writing and the player's experience deep into this anti-war sentiment throughout the series. There was something special about Part 4, where Old Snake came around and dealt with these supernatural beasts in these machines. And yes, there's going to be spoilers about these bosses, just a little bit. I want to make it clear and still enjoy the game knowing this information. In fact, it might help you embrace it more. You can see in the background multiple bosses in one area. This is when you first get introduced to the fact that they exist, and they take out these rebels pretty easily. And it's actually a homage. Each of these bosses pay tribute to the series, and they basically highlight previous bosses. At the same time, they introduce you to warriors, people who survived war and were traumatized. Much like Snake here, who isn't that old, but he looks like he's 60, 70. And that's what happens when war controls you. And today, I want to share my experience of playing this game the first time and years later, as I do once or more twice a year. The truth is, Part 4 is filled with fan service, but people miss the point. In the beginning of the game, it says war has changed, and that's the point. Paying tribute in different ways and wrapping up the story. And you know, war is old. There's many ways you can present it, but it's still going to be war. And that's where these bosses showcase that even more so. One of the things that Kojima mentioned was there's fairy tales about the Beauty and the Beast, a character that gets enchanted in a forest and turns into a beast. But in this story, in this concept, the females were turned into beasts within the war zones. And it's up to you, the player, to help them escape and free them. But at what cost is the question, and it's always layered. And so we dive into one and the only, the great Metal Gear Solid 4. Now I want to take you through a little preview of some of the boss fights, and I don't recommend watching if you don't want to spoil the story. But here we go. In this game, one of the biggest games was Metal Gear Solid. Came out in the 90s, and you met Meryl. And she was a vulnerable, new to war. And then in this game, she's way more advanced, but it's because of the nano machines helping her. And then she gets puppeted just like she did in the original. Again, paying homage to the series as they close it off. And of course, the boss, none other than the one and the only, aka bringing back Mantis. And while of course this isn't the normal fight, it's a tribute. They changed it up and mixed it up in many ways as well, but kept some of these themes the same. where you want to save Meryl. Do what you have to do to save Meryl. But you are also a beast, if you can remember that. So this is where the concepts of emotions play a role. You have laughter, rage, crying, and screaming. Each of these are bosses. They pay tribute to Raven, Wolf, Mantis, and Octopus, which is also a part of the Cobra unit and the Fox unit of the old days. These names mirror each other and they create synergy, a symbolism of the never-ending cycle of war. Generation after generation, we are doomed, just like you're doomed to want every series that you love to continue. Whether it's a video game or movie, TV show, you want your hero to survive and continue fighting more bad guys. And if you think about it, it's kind of insane. Like, let there be more bad guys is what you're asking for. Let there be more carnage for a hero to save. If we all chose, hey, you know what? No more war. We don't need these heroes. It's going to be peace. Then you know what? It'll be a happier world. But for the sake of our entertainment, we sacrifice and we puppeteer and demand for new iterations of each of our favorite series. Kojima knew this and he put this into part 4 heavily in many ways, paying tribute and homage, and letting you know what do you do when you ask for another sequel? Get what you deserve, as they say. And this is the moment. Get exactly what you deserve. Put yourself in a bad predicament. And it's also, again, as I said, there's many layers to these conversations about the mechanics of violence and being an apex predator, and the fact that women, for example, individually always get into this sexualized or overpowered state from the radical, and that's not okay. And while Kojima definitely uses beautiful women all the time, these messages, if you pay attention, you'll realize, like, wow, wait a minute, he's empowering them. These women are some of the toughest in the game, but they're still being used, much like Snake himself has been used and abused as a soldier. And one of the cool things that Snake says is, I'm no hero, I'm just a killer here to do some wet work. And that's exactly the issue. Echoes of our past, generation after generation, endless repeating of tragedies, adopting and adapting to violence as a soldier. And I'm not here to criticize Solid Snake. He's my all-time favorite, but think about it. How many lives has he taken? How much wrong has he done? It's just a never-ending cycle. And while I love all of these characters in this series, I don't fool myself into thinking that it's all good and it's okay, because it's not. And again, there's many conversations to have about how this all plays out and what it all means, etc., etc. I really love getting into this kind of conversation. Now, I want to kind of rewind this track and take you through these actual female characters, the reality of PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. And I'm not here to educate you on the terminologies, but basically just imagine going through something so tragic that it paralyzes you and maybe, puts you in a state that you either go paralyzed or ruthless. And that's what happens to these characters. In your eyes, they look like bad guys and they're attacking you, but they're trapped in this prison of war, in this struggle in this rat race, this never-ending cycle where a snake eating its own tail. The very theme of my channel, Metal Gear Explained, if you watch the logo, has a snake eating its tail. And the series is the reason for that. And this boss battle, as it continues, slowly unveils that. As you see Sorrow, the doll, or Mantis, manipulation that war has on us and how we use it as well to entertain ourselves as gamers, and for Snake to supposedly save the world, but a lot of times it's to save himself. And the question is, has he ever really saved himself? There's many layers to it, but it is a situation where he's getting puppeted just as much as Mantis did in the first game, or in this fourth game where you're taking out this boss. These are things that a lot of people will miss and not think about, not feel, because they thought, oh, the boss fight was fun, I'm done, I beat her. And there's a sense of relief that you did something right, or you did something good. The story continues, and you might forget. But the truth is, this is the cycle in each iteration of the Metal Gear series and a lot of games. This violence, this beast within us. Truth is, there's beauty in it. Artistic expression of developing, growing, changing, evolving. And a lot of times these games gives us freedom to let go of our daily lives and just get on something challenging and let a story be told. But not everybody can meet that fate. And in these games, these characters, and in this story here, the Beauty and the Beast, aka the woman, also can be freed. In this scenario, you can either go lethal or non-lethal, and you get to choose. Again, this is more of a psychological choice. It's not going to affect the story in the long run, but it is a choice you can make. And this is where each character, each Beauty and the Beast, aka boss fight, has a tragic backstory, which I won't get into and allow you to witness when the time comes. But it's unsettling. Beautiful form. Now, these are some supermodels in real life that were used for the game, but they're desperately looking for your embrace. They're desperately walking towards you. And it's on you to heal them or to leave them unhealed. All their severe trauma, the victimization that they felt, will you console them? Or will you just continue to cause more destruction and break them more than the war has? They're no longer connected to humanity and no longer connected to being a human. It's up to you. That burden is heavy. It's a psychological war. It's an emotional one. It's devastating, but it's real. And to be honest, you might know somebody who served in a war, secretly battles the same battles these women do. Whether it's your country's military or someone else's military, there's humans who go through these things. And honestly, even in your household, it could be your own family or a friend who went through something tragic that turned them into beasts. And you're wondering, why are they so dangerous? But really, they just need your embrace. Really, they just need you to help them come back to humanity. Now, I don't have the answer. And this isn't some sit down for me to try to convince you to be a good person. But it was Kojima's message. He's asking for forgiveness. He's asking growth. Can you set them free? And maybe, just maybe, this is just a mirror into you. You have some emotions, some thoughts that need to be set free. Maybe you need to find your way. And maybe there's some hero who needs to embrace you. It is a choice you have to make. There's no wrong answers in these video games, but in real life there is. And this is why I love Metal Gear Solid 4. There's so many deeper layers to this story. And the fact that you can go non-lethal by taking these emails out just gives you a reminder that, yeah, it's deliberate. It is a psychological explanation, but it is there. And you have the freedom of choice. And again, I don't judge anybody if they just didn't pay attention too much, but it is a real thing. And for me, as a man who appreciates Kojima's artwork, knowing that he designed the actual gameplay as well, not just the story, to be a full experience to make you think twice, and for you to know war is not good. And these are the type of things that you have to embrace. And if I was to make a 60-second clip of this female pressing on somebody would say, oh, Kojima always over-sexualizing these women. And while it can be true, even the magazines have some silly, fun stuff. The truth is, there's layers and layers upon layers that he shared. Now, the question is, what will you do? War doesn't just kill people. It can steal their innocence. It can rob them of their humanity. It can take away the future that they had. And every single day that you live, you have a choice to help someone restore and replenish. This is a choice. But again, sometimes we might feel trapped. And we'll be like Snake, old, withering, and only knowing one way to deal with everything: with a gun. And so, while I break this story down, I'm challenging you to grow, to change, to develop, to prosper. Life is short. Not everything is meant to be perfect, and don't be too hard on yourself. But there comes a point where you have to face the truth. Maybe you are the beauty, and maybe you shed light to the world, and you're fighting in the war while being that shining light. Or maybe, just maybe, you're the beast, causing havoc, destruction, war. That's the question Kojima asks as you play this game. There's so many layers to the topic, but I truly feel we as a people should look deeper when we look at these art. And for me, and in the story, where you have this Snake who is supposed to be our hero and has had, by the time this game released, about 5 different games. And then part 4 comes out. And truth be told, Snake's old. Not in the traditional age-wise, but in the series. So, will there be a new Metal Gear without Kojima? Probably. If you have me write it, I'll make sure that his themes and messages are a big part of the game. But don't mistake it, Kojima and Konami put together amazing gameplay and fundamentals that weren't just from Kojima, but from the Konami staff as well. And the truth is, we're all a part of that. Things that we highlight, things that we don't highlight, will cause Konami to decide what's next. People ask me, will I be happy if they remade Part 4? Absolutely. Played this more than any of the series games. But you don't know. The series is old. So are you if you're watching this. Sometimes we just have to be happy that we got the Master Collection Volume 2 coming. And that's what this video is tributing, the excitement. Knowing that those nanomachines of nostalgia will be coming back heavily. We'll get to enjoy the series as a whole on the modern day consoles. Don't let war change you. Be the snake that you were meant to be. Save the world the best way you know how. For all of us.